The city sleeps, or at least pretends to, but for some, the night holds a peculiar allure, a whisper of secrets hidden just beyond the glow of streetlights. A specific glow from a place that should be long closed always draws my eye. Hollow Grounds, a name that always felt a little too on the nose. The distant clock tower chimed, its resonant bongs echoing through the deserted streets. Midnight. And then, a moment later, 12:03. And just as it always did, at precisely 12:03 a.m., the heavy oak door of Hollow Grounds clicked, then slowly, silently, swung inward a crack. Every night, the same ritual, and every night curiosity clawed at me, whispering to just take a peek. Tonight, I finally gave in. The air inside was thick, smelling of old coffee grounds, dust, and something else, something metallic and vaguely sweet. The door groaned shut behind me. The interior was a bizarre mix of cozy and unsettling. Old velvet chairs sat around small, scuffed tables. Dust motes danced in the sparse light. No one else. Just the silence and the oppressive weight of unseen eyes. Then, a faint glow from behind the counter caught my attention, a menu board lit by a single weak bulb. I walked towards it, my footsteps muffled by the thick, unseen carpet. Each step felt heavy, deliberate. The menu wasn't what I expected. No lattes, no cappuccinos, just handwritten names, scrawled on aged parchment. A chill ran down my spine. My breath hitched. These weren't coffee names. These were people. The missing people from town. Elias Vance, Clara Jenkins, Mr. Henderson, all vanished without a trace. A low hum started, vibrating through the floorboards. It sounded like a forgotten machine deep beneath the earth. Then, from the shadows behind the counter, a figure emerged. Tall, slender, impossibly still. The barista. Their eyes were wide, dark, and utterly unblinking, like polished obsidian. They didn't speak, just slowly, deliberately, gestured to the menu board with a long, pale finger. My mind raced. What was this place? What were these drinks? Every instinct screamed to run, but my feet were rooted. The barista's finger moved, tracing a line down the menu, pausing expectantly on one particular name, Sarah Miller. I tried to speak, to ask, "What is this place?" or "What are these drinks?" but the words caught in my throat, replaced by a dry, rasping sound. The barista leaned slightly, their posture unnervingly perfect, their unblinking gaze a silent command. Choose. My hand, seemingly of its own accord, lifted and pointed to a random name, James Peterson, just to break the silence. Without a sound, the barista turned, their movements fluid and unnatural, disappearing behind a small velvet curtain. A moment later, they reappeared, placing a dark, steaming cup on the counter. The liquid within was an inky black, swirls of gray mist rising from its surface. My hand hovered over the cup. It felt cold, despite the steam. A strange, metallic aroma emanated from it. Against every fiber of my being, I lifted the cup. The first sip was bitter, cloying, like old earth and forgotten rain. Then, a flash, a fleeting image, a worn leather wallet lying abandoned on a park bench, James Peterson's wallet. I gasped, nearly dropping the cup. The air grew colder. The hum intensified. The barista simply watched, their unblinking gaze unwavering, a silent question in their still eyes. I had to know. Swallowing hard, I took another, larger sip. The truth was too horrifying to ignore. This time, the vision was clearer, more violent. James Peterson, struggling in the deep mud, swallowed by the earth. It wasn't coffee, it was memory. These were the last moments of the missing, and I was drinking them. The incandescent bulbs above flickered wildly, casting grotesque, leaping shadows across the walls and ceiling. The shadows themselves seemed to writhe, elongating, twisting into mocking, hungry faces. On a dusty mantelpiece, a grandfather clock chimed once. I looked. 12:08. Time was slipping away. Panic set in. I scrambled back, bumping into a table. The shop seemed to shrink around me. The barista, without moving, slid a small, ornate hourglass across the counter. The sand within was flowing with unnatural speed. It wasn't just a timer. It was a countdown. My countdown. I ran for the door, desperate to escape. But where the door had been was now solid, ancient brick. I was trapped. The hum escalated to a low growl. Another sip, and James Peterson's final, desperate struggle consumed me. The icy water, the grasping hands reaching from the darkness. My hands clutched the cup, but it wasn't just ceramic anymore. It felt like a part of me, draining my essence. The liquid seemed to pulse, a dark heart beating within the ceramic, pulling me closer to the edge of oblivion. The barista, for the first time, showed a hint of emotion. A faint, almost imperceptible smile played on their lips. I looked back at the grandfather clock. 12:12. 1 minute. 1 minute until what? I emptied the cup, a desperate final gulp, hoping to somehow complete the ritual, to break free. The clock's pendulum swung for the last time, a final resounding chime. 12:13. The cup slipped from my grasp, falling to the floor with a dull, shattering thud. No more visions, just emptiness. My body began to shimmer, to fade, like smoke dissipating in the dim, stale air. I was becoming a memory. The barista moved, sweeping the counter clean with a cloth, their unblinking eyes now scanning the menu, preparing for the next name, my name. The light from hollow grounds vanished, replaced by impenetrable darkness. The heavy oak door clicked shut, only to unlock again tomorrow at 12:03 a.m.